Today I'm going to talk about this bottle. What happens to this plastic bottle? We see it all around here. What happens to this plastic bottle after we use it? We dump it, and then what happens? Does it get recycled? This was a thought that I had for a long time. And so, my journey of sustainability met Web3. We are CircleX, and our mission is to create a world where waste isn't wasted. So, waste is a global pandemic. There are 2.01 billion tons of waste generated annually. We all know this. It's a global pandemic. It's a huge problem. But what are we doing? In spite of all the technological advancements, today we are talking metaverse, VR, AR, artificial intelligence, blah, 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 blah. But in spite of all these technological advancements, only 26% of waste is actually recycled worldwide. And that's a scary figure. So the reason why this is because the ecosystem completely is broken. On one side, there are brands who's producing a lot of waste like this. It goes to consumers use it, they throw it, they dump it. It's actually taken by rat pickers, kapadiwalas, and traders. Then it goes to traders, recyclers. From traders, it goes to recyclers, and then the product is made. So this is the ecosystem, but this ecosystem completely is broken. So what we are doing at CircleX is we are digitizing this complete ecosystem with our logistics partners, brands, traders, and we have successfully created India's largest waste ecosystem. Right now, today, there are 150 plus brands who are working with us, over 24,000 traders and aggregators and recyclers working with us, and then there is a lot of other people, including the kapadiwala and the rat pickers, who are working with us. So this is what we have done. But the journey from Web 2 to Web 3 was unique. The reason is, in Web 2 there is no traceability or transparency. I don't know where this bottle went. So my question was unanswered in the Web 2 space. So I wanted to create an ecosystem where there is Web 3 components as well. And everywhere you see, if you dump garbage on the roads, there's fines of 100 rupees. What if you get rewarded for dumping garbage in the bin? So that was the concept of the meta bin. So what we wanted to do is end-to-end traceability for any waste stream. This PET bottle became a t-shirt. We show with absolute clarity and traceability where the PET bottle was taken from, where it went to, what it was made into, and then finally it become a t-shirt. And you can see it all on our tab. That's our tab. So this is what we do. To explain more about the Web3 space, I'd like to call upon Yogesh.
Hi everyone, this is Yogesh here. So I would like to talk about how we are taking the Web2 company into the Web3 space here. So first of all, like Vishnu said, that the waste management is a vast industry, and we need to have a protocol which can, which helps us to validate and verify the waste that we are, every segment that we, that the waste goes through. So we wanted to, we created three major principles that we wanted to bring the Web2 company to a Web3 space. So first part is the MetaBin NFT collection. So this is the world's first NFT built specifically for waste management. So when you purchase one of our NFT, we will be deploying one trash bin in the real world. Okay? And from there, we will be able to track the collection of accumulation of waste. And we have to identify a protocol where we each and every segment, like every segment or every stage in the supply chain of waste has to be tracked. So we came up with a concept called peer-to-peer witness protocol. Say for example, today in your household, when a municipal worker comes to your house, he wants to collect the waste from your house, right? So what they basically do is they just collect the trash and they put it and then they take it to the municipal and dump it. Here, we wanted to have an additional layer here. So we will be issuing, in our DApp, citizens will be given an option to showcase their QR code, like their ID, which will be scanned by the municipal worker before the collection. And once he collects the waste, he will be checking the weight of it. An IoT sensor weighing machine on his truck will be set up so that the weight, as soon as the IoT detects the weight, it will be notifying both the person, like the household person and the municipal worker. So when these two people and they witness the segregation process, that is the solid waste and wet waste has been segregated correctly, and that's been witnessed by the municipal worker. And this person, household person, have witnessed the weight, what it has accumulated. So based on that agreement, they will be able to validate the collection that has been done on that particular area from that particular household. Because the source segregation is the key thing that is very important that we have to bring in this ecosystem, because only if every household people think how to identify the waste from the waste to value, only then we will be able to track the entire ecosystem. So we wanted to have few features here, which is learn to learn, where they will be educating people with the videos of how to properly segregate each and every item that they use in their day-to-day life. And then we have something called segregate to burn. So like I said, when a citizen segregates the solid waste and wet waste separately, they will be rewarded with the CircleX tokens that we will be issuing. And then the stake to earn. So for the NFT collectors, whoever collects the NFT bills, so based on the weight accumulator, and whenever the bill is empty, they will be getting rewards in the form of CircleX tokens if they stake the NFT in our tab. Okay. And then this extended citizens' responsibility is like a movement that we want to create. Earlier in the slide, if you have noticed, you have seen like we have connections with 10,000 plus planet warriors. So these planet warriors are nothing but the people who volunteered in all our cleanup events that happened in the past 2 years. So those people, so we wanted to create a community like dogs in different cities where we, the brands or corporates, whoever wanted to do a CSR activity on cleanups, these people will be invited from the top, and they will be doing the cleanups where they will be getting some rewards as well, like swags from the brands that sponsor the CSR activity. So for government, so by digitizing this waste management, CircleX DApp is providing a technological infrastructure for governments to manage the entire ecosystem of waste. So we wanted to call that as waste monitoring dashboard. So this dashboard will help the municipal worker supervisor to track his employees whether they are attending all the areas in every household. So that will be tracked, and then so that will be tracked, and then they will also be if any citizen have any issues, they can then raise a dispute whether the collection has been happened in that particular area or not. So that is also will be included in this. So CCX token is the token that we are launching. It's the ERC20. So we are building it on Polygon POS chain, and the total supply will be 1 trillion. And the tokens will be unlocked based on the conditions, like predefined conditions that we put in the smart contract. So that would be either learn to earn, like proof of segregation, proof of learning, and then proof of staking. So these are the three mechanisms which we will be unlocking the C6 tokens for the users. So for liquidity, we want to use a protocol controlled liquidity on Uniswap, like a concentrated liquidity, where because we are basically focusing on our ability to be useful for the people who are in the ecosystem. That is, right now we have close to 2 crore people involved in the waste management ecosystem, and we are trying to bring in the common people as well in the ecosystem. So if there is a high volatility in the market, they will not be able to adopt the Web3 just like that, right? So, and the cost of the C6 tokens will be higher than the pit bottle or whatever waste that we collect. So we don't want to deflate the currency. So we have a slow burn mechanism. So whenever we convert and whenever we recycle the product, once it becomes a t-shirt, shoes, and that will be listed in our marketplace. So whenever they purchase it, that transaction fees that is collected for that purchase will be burned. So that will slow down the burn process, and as well as we will have a on-ramp of have integration in our application, which will be helpful for people to get into the Web3 space because they are used to the UPI transactions, right? Majority. So that's the so like I said, we will be using and then we are using Chainlink. We have to fetch the off-chain data from the way you scale to the segment, and then we will be also building oracles for carbon assessment and plastic credits. So in any other chain, like we will be supporting EVM compatible chains. So any other chain, if they do any there are many sustainable projects. Like they want to get carbon credits for their particular chain, they can easily use that oracle and get that done. So this is the just a video. So this is our metaverse space. So we are launching our prototype by tomorrow. Like we are launching 75 NFTs in remembrance of 75th, celebrating 75th Independence Day. So this is the area where we are going to deploy the real transmission. So we have made a metaverse space for the people who are collecting our first Genesis drop, which is happening tomorrow. So for those people, we'll give the access to the metaverse space. So when they, they can literally see the action, like virtual meets the reality. So they have to move the trash can and the metaverse, and simultaneously they'll have the trash bin deployed in the real world. So that is how we are planning to do it.
So you said that when a user will buy an NFT, right, you will deploy a bin in the real life. So you are validating the hardware, or are you partnering with other people who are already doing this with the hardware?
Yes. Actually, we are not deploying a trash bin which is IoT sensor trash bin. We are deploying a normal trash bin, okay? Because we don't want to keep high expensive ones on the street. Okay, so we are partnering with already we have recyclers partnered with us who do the plastic garbage bins for us, and then instead on the truck we are setting up the main sensor, main machine IoT sensor, so that municipal worker is responsible for that. So that way.
So that would be we will be trusting the municipal worker, right? It's not automated. We can't do this manually, right? So we trust their word for the whole thing.
Yes, we've been working with them for 2 years, so we can 100% trust that they would give us the proper data. That's what we are doing. And then from the municipal worker, it actually goes to the trader or the aggregator who then manages the waste. So if there is entry which is wrong, then the trader or the aggregator will raise the flag then and there. So it will not jump multiple hops before it is actually found out that there is something missing in this ecosystem.
That's the peer-to-peer witness protocol. So it just not work with the household people and the municipal people. It works with the brands every segment. So wherever, if I have mentioned that I have segregated a ton of plastic waste, then the aggregator who receives the request, he will be paying and he will be checking if the same has been received. So only if he authenticates the transaction completes. If there is any flaw, we can then and there raise a dispute, which will be taken care of the people who is in charge of that particular segment. So that is how we have get the checkpoints.
So I'm going to understand how Web3 plugs into this, how blockchain plugs into this, right? For example, recycling, I think what I could gather from this was that you are giving them NFTs when they recycle or when they put or segregate the waste, right? So is that what we are adding from Web2 to Web3? The B is something. So right now, I think the whole chain is C, right? So what we used to do, right? I think you already doing this in Web2, when you are asking your using worker to tell the weight and everything, correct? Yes. It can be on any technology, it can be Web2 also, it can be Web3 also, right? So what I'm understanding is that the people who are throwing the waste or putting the waste for good behavior, you are giving them NFTs and giving them that NFTs, and that will have value.
No, that's just one portion. I'll answer that question. There's another portion which is products. So for example, if I'm wearing an Adidas and a Parley came up together, did a collaboration together and said ocean-bound plastic shoes. Now who's there to validate if it's actually ocean-bound? Now with our product, you can actually have a QR code on our t-shirt, which he has. And if you scan that QR code, you'll be able to trace the complete journey of the waste, right from who was the rat picker or the waste picker who picked it up, which municipal worker picked up this, where was it picked up from, which ocean floor, blah blah, all of these things is something that they could see on the data. So this is what we can actually add as value. This is great value for a brand as well. So tomorrow, when we are doing collaborations like Parley and Adidas, we can tie up with Puma and launch this. And for Puma, it becomes really important that this is the most critical element, transparency and traceability.
So you have a Web2 company which does this. Is that a
Yes.
for-profit company?
Yes, it's a for-profit company.
Okay. And you will be using that existing network and using that.
Yes.
So because you've been doing that Web2 company, my question is how difficult is it to onboard people who are in the government and working for them? What is the probability that they'll use that dashboard that you were talking about?
Initially, it would be difficult, but for Coimbatore, we have done it. For Kanyakumari, right now our dustbins are being deployed in Coimbatore first, Kanyakumari, Mumbai, Pune. The intention is, as long as there is something which is being done, which is good for the government, and the government doesn't need to fund it, then they are open to it.
A follow-up question on this. So there's already companies who are doing this in Web2, right? They're giving government dashboards and everything. Is this protocol can be applied to that? Will you guys onboard them, or will you have that we'll use our own technology for this? Are you open to collaboration with those companies because they have already worked with government and already onboarded few of in different cities?
Absolutely, it should be a plug and play because there are already people in this ecosystem. We didn't want to become a recycler. So we saw there are 3,500, 4,000 recyclers across India who have production capacity but don't get proper supply of raw materials. So we tied up with them. Similarly, there will be NGOs who are doing this and so on. We will plug them into our ecosystem and train them in Web3.
So I guess the question I have is, do you see this as a protocol or do you see this as a product? Like how much does the regular user need to trust you, the company, or is this completely trustless? Is this completely open? Like, can this operate on its own, or do you need the company?
Actually, we wanted to make it like an autonomous organization. So that is the reason we mentioned that extended citizen responsibility, where we'll be having DAOs in place. So this protocol that we are building right now, it's going to be something that will that can be used for like decades, like without any intervention. So that's the idea behind the entire ecosystem.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.